These Ipswich Town players are defying the odds.
Welcome to TWTV. I'm Jim Cooper, and you join us outside the home of Premier League Ipswich Town, Portman Road, where we've just witnessed Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2 in a exhilarating game, perhaps not the result we wanted. And I'm joined to look back at that game with some video verdicts by Callum, one of the youngest members of the TWTV team and a budding reporter for TWTD. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Callum.
Yep, so I have been doing some writing for the website for the last 18 months or so. Regular readers of the website might be familiar with my name tag at the top, so you'll see me out quite a lot. And as you say, I'm younger than you, so I haven't seen us in the Premier League until today.
Finally made it to the Premier League. You got to see us in action against the behemoth that is Liverpool.
Yep.
How was the experience? You sit in the lower north, I believe?
I do, yeah.
Just give it an overall of how it was feeling for you. What was the game like?
Well, I mean, the atmosphere was extraordinary. It was a really special day. I think it was always going to be a special day regardless of the scoreline. And the performance as well, I thought we did ourselves proud. And just to say that I've finally seen Town in the Premier League is a special day for me and many others who are of a similar age.
You've made it, haven't you? Yeah, I sit in Block J, which had a huge kind of hole behind it today where they're building the executive boxes. We had a nice kind of breeze coming through, and the atmosphere at kickoff was really quite something.
Yeah.
Huge tifo coming down from the Blue Action guys. Didn't get the full, seemed to be getting pulled back, people trying to get a view in the lower north, but it was really exciting at the start, wasn't it? A lot of nervous energy. I'm not sure if I was actually enjoying it. Did you enjoy the start, Callum, or were you just lost in the moment?
I was lost in the moment, as I'm sure loads of other people were. I was enjoying it. I wasn't nervous at all. I didn't feel like there was anything to be nervous about. I thought the opponent, the game, I didn't think there was any pressure on us, so I had no reason to be nervous. I thought it was just a brilliant occasion and something I've waited my whole life for.
We made it, and for 60 minutes it was looking good. Let's get into the game itself. So, you know, for 60 minutes I thought we gave a really good count to ourselves. The press was strong. I've got to admit, we spoke in the week, didn't we, Callum? I was questioning whether Luongo would have the pace, but he, for me, was a bit of a standout player. So come on, let's get into the game itself. What's your sort of overview of the game?
I thought, as you say, until the first goal went in, I thought we were well in the game. I thought first half was absolutely fantastic. I thought we held our own superbly. Obviously went in 0-0, which I'm sure we'd all have taken. And in terms of the way that the game was going, it wasn't like we were on the back foot. I thought the game was relatively even. They had more of the ball, more of the possession, probably more of the chances, but we had a few. We could have scored ourselves. Amari had a great chance, probably chance of the game, I'd say, in that first half. Tested Alisson, got it on target, couldn't quite beat him.
I think he just could have taken a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, he was jinking around a bit, and it could have been a stronger finish. But you know, he was looking good, and I actually thought he grew into the game. He was actually almost improved towards the end.
Yeah, I thought for the final half an hour, when probably Liverpool were definitely the better side in the game, I thought Amari was our best player in that spell. But up until the goal went in, I thought Massimo Luongo, you touched on it there.
Yeah.
For me, I thought he was fantastic. I think he's maybe making a point with some midfield, with a new midfielder coming in, another one on the way, that maybe he has more of a role to play than some of us think. I thought his minutes would be limited this season with some of the new additions. I'm not surprised he started today, but I thought he was really excellent. I thought he was composed on the ball, didn't lose the ball once, and I thought he was really strong in the tackle, really energetic and really aggressive, and got in their faces, which really impressed me.
Well, let's talk about the starting 11. I was listening to the Blue Monday podcast on Thursday, their pre-match show, an excellent show, and you know they were actually almost hoping that the Morsey-Luongo partnership in central midfield will continue, and they could kind of almost be rewarded for that, the fantastic work they've done for the club over the last period. Let's talk about. So basically, we had take us through the starting 11. Go for it.
So I think the biggest surprise was probably the goalkeeper. If we start from the back, Christian Walton. Muric clearly has a knock.
I heard it was calf actually, so
calf,
maybe yeah.
Okay, we'll wait and see how that is. Hopefully not too serious, but I thought Christian was a surprise entry, but I thought it was okay in the shot stopping. I think there's a clear downgrade on the ball in possession. I think that's pretty clear. I think we saw that with Vaz last year, and then we've seen that getting Muric in for pre-season. But I thought his shot. It made some good saves towards the end, I thought. The back four kind of picked itself, maybe a question mark at right back, but I'm not surprised Axel Tuanzebe started.
He's had a great pre-season, and he looked strong. He looked absolutely blown when he came off later on, but he put in a really good shift against quality opposition.
Absolutely. The midfield, as you say, Morsi and Luongo, I wasn't surprised to see them continue as a, you say, reward for the last few years, and a couple of the new boys in midfield haven't been in the building for very long, so I wasn't surprised in the slightest. And then I think the front four probably picked itself as well. A bit light in that area at the moment, but I thought Hutchinson was a standout of the attackers. I thought Delap put himself about. There was one occasion during the first half where I think he had Jarrell Quansah on toast and nearly scored from it, which was brilliant.
Like the OGC Nice pre-season friendly, he's an absolute unit. He really gets on the back of the central defenders and was causing havoc. And he's got some nice touches as well. There was one particular one where he broke through. He sort of flicked the ball past the guy. It was great. There was some good play in there. So going further, I mean, I think looking at the players, I think we can say that Greaves was the standout. Man of the match.
Over the course of the 90 minutes, I think, definitely. So composed on the ball, won a lot in the air, particularly in the first half, and he's not afraid to put his body on the line either, which is all you can ask for in a centre half. And clearly he's going to play a huge part in this season, and he's a good acquisition. Yeah,
I mean, I think we talked with Phil earlier in the week, Phil Ham from TWTV, and he was saying that he felt like he was a guy who could step up, and he just looked natural against the level of opposition we were up against. Okay, well, let's quickly talk about the Liverpool team. I mean, we calculated that I think the starting 11 was something like £470 million, and the names on the bench, Nunez on the bench, quite a starting 11 for them. Who stood out for you for Liverpool?
I thought there were a couple, to be honest. I thought Szoboszlai in midfield was good, but the forward players, you can see the amount of talent they have. Diogo Jota played through the middle, which I think was expected. He got a goal, obviously, which was a nice finish. Mo Salah, you can't talk about the Liverpool attack without talking about him.
Although Davis, he really was giving him. I thought Davis was corralling him quite well. Obviously, the big change was we weren't just getting forward as much. Davis was pinned back a little bit more in the second half, but that was quite a battle between him and Salah.
It was. But clearly they're a team with so much talent, so many star names, and it was always going to be difficult for us. But I thought we did ourselves very proud, which is all I could have asked for.
And I think obviously in we had that really strong first half into the second half. I think they'd had a bit of a talking to, hadn't they, at half time. The new manager, he's come in, he won't have been happy with that performance, and I think obviously they came out much stronger in the second half. And Diaz, who again was quite quiet, I thought, in the first half, again, Axel was having a good game against him. He kind of started to get into the game.
Well, we saw Axel come off at right back, Wes came off on the right as well, and when that dynamic changed, I thought they got a bit more joy down that side, which was a shame, but it was to be expected, I suppose. Tiring legs, that sort of thing, and eventually I think the star quality of the players just shone through.
And I think when our press started to drop, it was a pretty hot day out there. Sort of 24. You felt it in the bowl, didn't you? I think the press started to drop, and that's when we started to have issues. And they started to come out with. I think we talked again in the week about pace. That's going to be the difference in the Premier League. These teams are coming at you in pace. There were waves, and they just started to get their shape and movement going, didn't they, Liverpool? And we found it hard to keep up with.
The intensity for right up until the final minute was a lot, and we dealt with it well up until the goal. And I don't think the goal was a turning point. I thought the goal came around the similar time that the changes were made, and I think we were beginning to tire. But then when the goal does go in as well, it can be a bit of a blow, and I never felt like we were going to come back into the game once they'd opened the scoring.
Let's sum up the video verdicts of the game overall. So from my point of view is, what an occasion. I spoke to a guy at half time in the queue, and he was basically saying, look, he's just enjoying it. And I think after those initial nerves and just the size of the occasion, we enjoyed it. The crowd were good, behind the team, lots of good stuff to be pleased about. As you said, Luongo was fantastic. We didn't look out of place. They were struggling a bit with our press. We were breaking through. So some positives. Just think it's a shame we got slightly overrun towards the end. Let's look ahead to Man City. How do you feel? You know, that's a bit daunting. Another free hit, a bit like Liverpool.
Yeah.
Maybe we're building up to the Fulham game. That's the one we should focus on. But what's your summary of today's game and looking ahead?
Well, you mentioned the occasion. You know, it was a really special day for so many of us. It's been 22 years since we've played in this division, since Premier League football's been played on this ground. And looking ahead to Manchester City, I mean, I thought today was going to be tough. I mean, next week's going to be particularly tough. I think whatever happens next week happens, and I think we'll have to move on pretty quickly.
I mean, we haven't really talked about the new signings. Schmodic came on. I thought he did a good job, actually. He's got a lot of energy. I liked
put himself about.
Absolutely. What I saw, he was kind of dictating play a little bit. He was telling colleagues what to do, which I liked. Obviously, Phillips didn't come on. Maybe with a nod to the fact he won't be able to play against his parent club next weekend at Man City. But you know, good to see Schmodic coming in. I thought, you know, that's something we're going to need.
Yeah, I mean, we need different options because with Broadhead injured and Hurst injured, we have been a bit light in those attacking departments. So Schmodic, I think, is finally good to finally get it over the line. It's dragged on for quite a bit, but yeah, clearly he's someone who knows where the net is in the Championship, and you know, you never lose that goal scoring instinct. So hopefully he can get a few for us in the Premier League.
Fantastic, Callum. Really appreciate you joining us. So that's the first section of Video Verdict. Looking back on the game, we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Portman Road, where we continue our look at the Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2 game, getting further views. And this time we're getting the views from the press box. So we've got our very own Phil Ham from TWTV, who's in the heart of Portman Road, going to provide us some further views on the game itself. Phil, new press areas, big changes in media coverage today. I was watching Darren Bent and his Givenchy handbag alongside Michael Owen by the side of the pitch. Tell us about the new press area and just the buzz around the media centre today, please.
Yeah, well, I'm actually in the new press area now. It was new for all of us. Some of us have been coming here for many, many, many years, but of course this is all very new. All this bit behind me you couldn't see. If you go, there's a corridor behind me, and then there's a workroom on the left, and a media, like a press conference room, which is a bit like your lecture theatre back at university or whatever. Yeah, all very impressive. And a new press box to watch the game with little TV, so we can replays and all that kind of thing. The sort of stuff we didn't used to get at Accrington, Fleet and Morecambe.
Forest Green Away, which we always refer to.
Yeah, and, Forest Green Away, where we woke up.
Yeah. Indeed. Any wet paint around?
There was a pile of cable ties on our desk, me and Russell from Suffolk News. So clearly some work had been going on very, very recently. Yeah, there's elements of sticky tape holding one or two things together, but generally it's actually surprisingly good. A lot of vans out here, but they're more outside broadcast vans than workman's vans in this case. So yeah. Anyway, the game.
Yeah, let's get into it. So you know, I think my summary is, you know, for 60 minutes, you know, I thought a great count of ourselves, and then just got slightly overrun a little bit. Tell us what you've just finished your match report for the TWTV website. Give us your view of the game and kind of your summary, Phil, please.
Yeah, I think first half, I think we more than matched them, really. I think we had the big chance, didn't we? I think Jacob Greaves' chance in the first half. Amari Hutchinson had another potential opportunity. They didn't have a shot on target, did they, in the first half? Which, you know, not dissimilar to the pre-season games we had against Hoffenheim and Shakhtar. And Nice, where we kind of kept sides that will be in Europe this year from causing us too many hassles. But I think the class in the second half showed, didn't it? They came out and I think the pace really down the middle and down the left in particular. Actually, thinking about it, Salah down the right as well, because both goals came from that really. Balls in behind Leif Davis, and once they'd gone a goal ahead, and then the second goal came so quickly, there really wasn't to be a way back for us, was there? So yeah, it was. I think positives in as much as the way in the first half. The other key thing was the penalty incident, wasn't it? Of course, if Reece Davis hadn't been offside in the earlier incident, I think it probably would have been a penalty, which would have changed the nature of the game at that stage. But having said that, at that period, Liverpool was starting to create chances, starting to kind of find holes in our defence, and eventually the first goal came, the second goal came, and really after the second goal, that was it really, wasn't it? I think they were quite comfortable. And to be honest, if one or two players had shooting boots on, it could have been 4 or 5, couldn't it? Ultimately, but I think that would have been harsh on us for the first half display, because I think the first half display was very heartening. And I think my conclusion in the match report really was, it won't be games like this that settle Town's season. It'll be games against much more run-of-the-mill teams. And so, heads shouldn't be down after this game. Decent enough performance in the first half. Opposition showing their class in the second. It'll be the Fulhams, the Forests, the Bournemouth, all those sorts of teams that we will have to get better results against. But only 2 home defeats in the league in 40 matches. That's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you're just picking up a few points there, Phil. I mean, you're absolutely right that Liverpool did have a lot of chances, but that penalty, the penalty chance was right in front of me in Block J, and it looked like Delap was taken down. It looked a good shout. And the VAR obviously went on for a bit of time. We had our first VAR experience, and at that point, Town fans were loving the VAR. I think they're getting quite excited, hoping for the best, but it didn't come through. Let's move on to player performance. Obviously, man of the match was Greaves. I thought he really stood out today.
I did. I agree with you. Yeah. I thought he was very, very good. Towering headers, and obviously almost scored a goal in the first half. Cut things out. I thought he looked. You can see exactly why Kieran McKenna brought him in. Delap, I thought, was probably a little isolated, or quite a lot isolated. I thought, really, but at the same time, he showed what he can do. He got his sort of physical presence. I think defensively he was very useful as well, in the way that perhaps Daryl Murphy used to be. You can certainly see why he was brought in, and he didn't look like, I think it was his second Premier League game. I think he played 1 for Manchester City. Very brief sub appearance, I think. Hutchinson, again, another one. I thought he looked like he'd sort of settled in.
I thought he grew into the game. I thought there were a few chances earlier on, which, I think he had a chance in front of Ralph, which I thought, if he'd taken again, a bit like the penalty VAR, it could have changed the game a little. But he grew into the game, and at the end, he was really causing some issues, I think, for Liverpool.
Anyway, I think I'll have to go, because I think Kieran will be there for his presser.
Fantastic. Well, good luck in the press conference itself. Look forward to reading the write-up of that. And we look ahead to Man City, where we'll connect again. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day.
See you later. Bye.
Welcome back to TWTV, where I'm joined by former player Adam Tanner to give a player's view of today's game between Ipswich and Liverpool. And Adam's well placed to talk about Liverpool, having scored an absolute blaster of a goal in a 1-0 victory at Anfield in 1995. Very happy memories there for me, Adam. Now, you've come straight from the director's box, and you've had a role at the you've been doing something at the ground today. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, part of the Ex-Players Foundation that is Matt Holland and Simon Milton involved in. They invite ex-players sometimes into the director's box. We've got a few seats in there, and there's normally a connection with the team we're playing. Today, Martin Royce was there, Jules Burley, Steve McCall, Russell Osman, Terry Butcher, sort of permanent fixtures in that respect. But yeah, it was lovely. We sometimes go around the lounges and just have a bit of a question and answer session. But no, it's really nice to be invited on such a momentous day. Yeah, and it really was a momentous day. Quite an occasion at kick-off, wasn't it? It was really felt like we were back in the Premier League. It was. What do you think of the atmosphere at the start? Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing. I was sitting with Simon and Martin Royce, and it was sort of electric. You know what I mean? The goosebumps. Just fully deserved for what's been going on at the club, both on and off the pitch, for the last sort of 18 months to 2 years. Brilliant. And I think it epitomised the performance in the first half. Yeah, I mean, we've been on a journey, and I thought a lot of that passion, that energy was there on display, wasn't it? So, obviously, it's a shame we lost 2-0. I think the previous verdicts have been, we gave a really good account of ourselves for 60 minutes. Excellent press, carved out some chances as well. Just summarise your view of the game, if that's all right, Adam. Yeah, I think you've pretty much nailed it there. I mean, I'd probably say probably a game of 2 halves. We sort of maybe surprised them a bit how energetic we were first half. I think we maybe run out a little bit of a little steam in the second half, but we got to realise the high intensity that we were playing, and also the levels of the quality we're up against. You only got to look at their bench. The majority of that team played for Kieran in League One, and credit to Kieran for giving them the chance today. I thought that was absolutely brilliant, even with his subs, bringing on players that merit a chance in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was great to see, Luongo starting, Chaplin in there as well, Harness coming on to play as well. So I think you're right. There was a bit of a reward there, wasn't it, for the sort of service to the club that they provided. It was fantastic. And do you think McKenna changed his approach? You've watched a lot of Ipswich over the last couple of seasons. Do you think he changed his approach? Did you see any changes to the system?
No, the only thing I think was slightly different was with the keeper, and I'm not found out why Muric didn't play, but I think it's well documented. Walton's probably not as strong with his feet as Lackey last year and Muric, but I thought he'd done really well, and I think we probably went back to front a little bit quicker than we have done, but I don't know if that's a result of Christian playing, but no, I think Kieran will stick to his principles. I mean, we played some really good stuff, especially first half. In when Liverpool were pressing high, we got out. Overall, as disappointing it is to lose, you never like to lose. I think we got to remember this. This is the first game of a very, very long season against one of the big hitters.
And I think, what you could see was that for me, the pace and energy, that was the level, wasn't it? The pace that they were coming with the second half as we were tiring, but also mistakes. We did get a bit loose a couple of times. When you lose the ball in those kind of positions, you can basically get punished. And I think that's what started to happen in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the quality. I mean, Salah was relatively quiet first half. In second half he came alive. I thought Trent just, sort of nonchalantly at right back was smashing balls all over the place, playing people in it, and it's brilliant to see, and I think it's really exciting for all the fans, and it must be for the whole squad. They're pitting their wits. We're going to have it's going to be a roller coaster season. I think as I say, yes, we've lost 2-0. There was no embarrassment. There was no sort of, oh my God, are we fit to be on the same pitch as these guys? We went toe to toe with them. And I think ultimately their quality just showed in the end. The couple of lads that probably, like Gravenberch in midfield, I thought he was outstanding, especially second half. Probably not one of the big names that you'd expect or people really know about, but I thought his physicality and his quality on the ball, especially second half, was outstanding. Yeah,
I think there was just quality across the pitch. I think certainly like Diaz, for example, he really grew into the game, and he's a handful. He really is. Okay, so let's close out by which Ipswich players stood out for you, Adam. Did you agree with Greaves as man of the match, for example?
I think I did. I think he made some really good. He was in some really good headers first half, and he's made a couple of good blocks second half. I thought for a home debut he looked very assured. Yeah, I probably wouldn't argue with that. I thought Delap showed bits of quality first half, so they're two of the new guys. But you've got your sort of 7, 8 out of 10 Moores in midfield. He gives you the heartbeat of the team. But yeah, I think if you're pushing, I'd probably have to agree with Jacob Greaves.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, thanks very much for your views on the game, and we look forward to next week's action against Manchester City, where we'll be coming live from Manchester after the game. Thanks for your time. See you again soon.